Hey, I'm Lucas, and what is up with kids these days? And by kids, I mean 6 to 9 year olds who are not supposed to have access to certain kinds of materials, but do. And I'm not talking about the material you find on certain websites. I'm talking about something else. Don't judge me. I am talking about the pew pews and the stabby stabbies. Basically, all the kind of things that would be rated as violence and blood and all the stuff made from nightmares. Violence is something that we all live by, and I'm not talking about just simple gun violence. I'm talking about all sorts of violence, like punching a rabbit in the face, which is animal cruelty and you should never do. I also don't do it, but you shouldn't do it either. Don't ever punch a bunny in the face. How could you? How could you be so cruel? Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously, don't punch a bunny in the face. Violence is literally something that's been integrated into our society. We live by violence. Sometimes, when we don't know what to do, we resort to violence. Sometimes we pay to watch violence, such as boxing matches and wrestling. It's fake! Naturally, as part of our violent society, we would have violent video games, violent videos, violent pictures, some things that we try and keep away from our younger generation, the 6 to 9 year old people, or at least some of us do. A lot of people seem to have access to these games, and I'm also talking about 6 to 9 year olds. Somehow, their parents don't seem to, I don't know, care about their stuff enough to know that they're actually killing other people inside video games, maybe? And I find it strange, really. Me, as a kind of ish a pacifist, I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to punch a person, but I would if for simple self defense. But as a person who kind of hates violence, even though I do play violent video games, it's teen rated. Come on, everyone does it at some extent, but it seems like younger people do it more than me. Like every day when I go to school, I see these people playing on their little iPad touchscreens these games where they start slashing people or monsters in the face, and then they die, and doesn't seem to be rated for everyone. Seems to be like teenage or even mature content. And this is the kind of thing which makes me worried. Not worried at those children in particular, but more worried about society. Now, first of all, question: are violent video games bad? I say not necessarily. There are some aspects which are good. For example, accuracy and time, uh, time management and reflective thinking, like instantaneous thinking on the spot. Those are some good traits which anyone can use, but the way it can be applied, the way people could think of it is, well, should I or should I not shoot the person in the face? And that is something that we should not think about. We should think, well, let's not shoot this person in the face because it's a person. We shouldn't shoot anyone in the face, actually. But it's something that we basically develop. We suddenly have the urge to consider doing violent deeds, and sometimes we believe it's from video games. It might be from books. It might be from movies. But a lot of the times, for me, I think it's personal instinct. It has nothing to do really with the outside world. I mean, not a lot of people who play violent video games end up being violent. It's only those who develop in a sort of bad environment, sort of violent environment, they become violent. But people who just play the games, they don't exactly create those violent traits. I mean, I'm not violent, and I do kind of ish, maybe a little bit, but I'm not that violent. I wouldn't pick up a gun and start going on a big rampage. I don't do that kind of stuff. That sounds so crazy. I'm not crazy. Again, I want to say I'm not worried about the children. I mean, the children can play as much as they want, but I'm worried about the fact that they can play. I mean, it is against the law to play overrated games, even though most people do it. And that's the worrying part. Most people do it. It's like most people are breaking the law simply by playing games. And even though it's not a strict law, it's kind of one of these official, unofficial laws which exists, but you don't really follow them. It's one of these laws which you kind of, I don't know, break often. You do often break certain laws because they're stupid or they don't make sense or because you want to. And that's the problem. If you want to break the law of overrated games, if you want to play overrated games, who knows what other laws you may break? We already broke so many laws just by accessing these games, and now we have learned the way of badness. We now are starting to develop this kind of rogue feeling inside that we can do whatever we want to. And that's probably what happens in these cases. It's not the violent video games themselves who create violent people, it's the concept that the people are playing violent video games that turns them violent, if you know what I'm saying. And it's probably not even the parents' fault that the children are playing violent games. It's probably the fact that the children have such an easy access to those games via the internet or the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. There's so many ways you can get those apps, and so many ways which you can bypass protection, bypass security codes. There's so many different ways you can get the game you want simply by downloading it online, um, getting it for free, and then bypassing the age check, like lying on the age check, which at this point I don't even believe it works. I mean, whoever writes their real age if they're under 17? They just write 20 or something like that, and then you instantly get access to everything. Uh, but there are so many different ways we can break the law, and by just accessing those illegal high age video games, we're really starting to break the law, and that is something which a lot of 6 to 9 year olds are doing right now. They literally are breaking the law, and so are learning how to break the law, and may even do this further in their lives. So it's kind of an issue which a lot of people are facing right now, because even parents now are starting to worry about the fact that we're playing so much video games. I'm actually currently during a ban because I've been playing a bit too much during the holidays. But otherwise, I'm not exactly that fond of violent games. I mean, I play it, but I don't play it because it's violent. I play it simply because there is an element of fun and it's multiplayer. Who doesn't like multiplayer? Um, so otherwise, that's it. I don't think I can say any more about this. It's just one of these things which you can't really talk about a lot because it simply is too big for you to talk about. But I'm just gonna raise the thing, and if you've got anything to add, just put it in the comments below, and I might share it. I don't know. But otherwise, that's it for this video. If you liked it, click the like button. If you didn't like it, click the dislike button. If you enjoyed this video and you might want to see more of them, you can click the channel down below and watch more videos. If you want to get notified of any new videos, click the subscribe button. Otherwise, I'm Lucas. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you watch another one of them, and I shall say to you, goodbye!